For the last 3 years, the Linux community has been waiting for the next major release from a distribution that almost everyone seems to have forgotten about. While the internet argues over Ubuntu snaps and Arch updates, Mageia 10 just dropped, and it might actually be the most stable RPM-based desktop you can run right now. This isn't just another fork or a fresh coat of paint. Mageia 10 brings the Linux 6.18 kernel, DNF5 and Wayland by default to a distro that traces its lineage directly back to Mandriva. It's an enterprise-grade foundation built entirely by a community, not a corporation. Why does this matter? Because if you're tired of corporate-backed distributions making decisions that benefit their cloud services more than your desktop experience, Mageia offers a completely independent alternative that doesn't compromise on stability. In this video, we're going to break down exactly where Mageia 10 outperforms Ubuntu, where it falls short, and whether it deserves a spot on your daily driver. Let's get into it. Before we dive into the technical benchmarks, we need to understand what Mageia actually is. If you're newer to Linux, the name might sound unfamiliar. But its roots go back to Mandrake Linux, which later became Mandriva, one of the most popular, user-friendly distributions of the early 2000s. When Mandriva faced financial trouble in 2010, a group of former employees and community members forked the project to create Mageia. Their goal was simple: build a secure, stable, and completely community-driven operating system. Fast forward to today, and Mageia 10 is their first major release in nearly 3 years. That long development cycle isn't a sign of a dying project. It's a testament to their philosophy. They don't release until it's ready. Unlike Ubuntu, which is steered by Canonical, or Fedora, which is backed by Red Hat, Mageia is governed by a recognized non-profit organization. There is no enterprise server product subsidizing the desktop version. The desktop is the product. And that independence means they make technical choices based on what works best for the user, not what aligns with a corporate roadmap. So what exactly took 3 years to build? Mageia 10 ships with a completely modernized stack. At its core, it is running the Linux 6.18 long-term support kernel. This provides a rock-solid foundation with excellent modern hardware support without the constant churn of bleeding-edge kernel updates. But the biggest under-the-hood upgrade is the transition to DNF5 and RPM 4.20. If you have used Fedora recently, you know that DNF5 is a massive leap forward in performance. It drastically reduces metadata sync times and memory usage. In Mageia 10, package management feels instantaneous. This is a huge quality of life improvement over Mageia 9. On the desktop side, Mageia 10 has fully embraced the future. Wayland is now the default display server across both their KDE Plasma 6.5 and GNOME 49 editions. They have polished the implementation so that multi-monitor setups and fractional scaling work flawlessly out of the box. And for those who prefer lighter environments, their XFCE and LXQT implementations remain top tier. This brings us to the most important question. Why would you choose this over Ubuntu? The first major win for Mageia is its approach to software packaging. Mageia 10 is completely free of Canonical's snap packages. You get native RPM packages, and Flatpak is fully supported out of the box if you want containerized apps. There's no forced transition to proprietary backend stores. But the real crown jewel of Mageia, and the feature that Ubuntu has never managed to replicate, is the Mageia Control Center, or MCC. This is a centralized graphical administration tool that lets you manage everything from firewall rules and NFS shares to proprietary drivers and bootloader configurations. It is incredibly powerful. As a sysadmin, I can tell you that MCC bridges the gap between terminal dwelling power users and graphical desktop users better than almost any other tool in the Linux ecosystem. You don't need to memorize 20 different command line utilities to configure a Samba share or set up a local proxy. It's all there in one cohesive, stable interface. That level of system integration is something Ubuntu's fragmented settings menus simply don't offer. By the way, I just checked our channel analytics and it turns out about 84% of you watching right now aren't subscribed yet. If you've been getting value from these Linux deep dives, hitting that subscribe button is the best free way to support the channel and make sure you never miss the next one. Now, I promised an honest verdict, and that means we have to talk about where Mageia 10 falls short. The biggest hurdle is community size. Because the user base is smaller than Ubuntu or Fedora, troubleshooting niche hardware issues can be difficult. If you encounter a weird bug with a specific Wi-Fi card, you won't find 100 Stack Overflow threads solving it. The second weakness is software availability. While the official repositories are robust and Flatpak fills many gaps, you won't find native RPMs for every proprietary application. Many commercial software vendors provide a .deb file for Ubuntu and an RPM for Fedora or Red Hat. While Fedora RPMs often work on Mageia, they aren't guaranteed to, and that lack of official vendor support can be a deal breaker for some professional workflows. So, who should actually use Mageia 10 in 2026? If you want an operating system that you can install once and rely on for years without the OS getting in your way or pushing corporate agendas, Mageia is phenomenal. The Mageia Control Center alone makes it a top-tier choice for users who want deep system control without living in the terminal. Would I deploy it in a massive production environment? Probably not, simply because of the shorter support lifecycle compared to RHEL or Ubuntu LTS, and the lack of commercial vendor certifications. But for a home server, a developer workstation, or a daily driver for someone who values stability and independence? Absolutely. It is the hidden gem of the RPM world. If you want to support the channel directly and get some cool perks, consider clicking the join button below to become a pseudo user or get root access. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.